Alrighty, got 4 weatherboards here and 6 sheets of drywall / plasterboard. That's for inside walls that I haven't done yet. I'm intending to do in the winter. Give myself a bit of something to do inside instead of doing them now and then having nothing to do in winter. So I'm going to just whack those in the laundry until we hit winter, or I run out of stuff to do outside, which isn't likely to happen anytime soon. And I want to make the most of the days when it's not raining, doing outside stuff. Go on, Kitty, off we go. Don't need little cat prints on this stuff. I think that's the, it wouldn't matter too much anyway, just brush off. Anyway, I'll show you this, what's his name I've got. Funny really, it was just sitting there on the ground, shattered, and I got the circuit board and I got the rest of the casing. The only thing that's missing, as your charge plug, is a little button that sits in there. The button's on the circuit board, but they would have had another external button, so to speak, that pushes a little micro switch on the circuit board. Supposed to have an LED torch there. I can't seem to get it to work. I press the switch quickly and it gives me a indication out of 4 as to how full the battery is. I hold down that switch and then the last one of the LEDs to whatever charge level it is just sits there blinking on and off. And take your finger off and it just keeps blinking, and then you press it again and then it all goes blank. But I can't work out what combo I've got to do to get the LED torch to work. There's a chance the LED torch may not work, and that's why it got flung on the ground. There's also a chance that it may have got flung on the ground because of something I discovered when I plugged it into the library. It was essentially flat. You guys know with cordless drills you can have it go flat, and then if you leave it sit overnight or the next day or whatever, you can usually plug it in and just get a little bit more of a burst out of it, even if it's lithium-ion batteries or whatever. You know, it's like your phone goes flat, and then if you leave it sitting there till the next day, you can usually turn it on and it'll go for another 5 minutes or so. And it may be due to that reason that I actually got it to charge a tablet for about 2 or 3 seconds as I was just, testing it to see if it was going to charge the tablet. But it did actually charge the tablet for a few seconds as I was testing it there. And then when I went to plug it in and charge it, yeah, she's really low. So they might have just gone to use it and either the torch didn't work or plugged it into their phone and this was flat. They cracked the shits and flung it on the ground, and the case blew into black part and either side, and circuit board fell out and they just bloody well left it there. Probably just because it was flat and they cracked the shits with it. What is going on with today's people? Anyway, take my finger off the microphone. 4,400 milliamp hours, charges with a 1 amp USB, micro USB there, and lets out 1 amp there, and 2.1 for your bigger tablets and your iPads out there. Not too bad, considering I got it for nothing. I think someone's got a bit of coffee stain there or something. Anyway, I'm probably going to give that a bit of a clean with an antibacterial wipe. Yeah, seems all they've done is just broken the little internal lugs inside. And, I mean, that's sitting together pretty well as it is, just even if I just hold the top piece. It's not going to come apart too easily. And I reckon just an elastic band or 2 around it, and I should be right. And inside that black piece has got like it's like a little jig to hold the circuit board and the 2 batteries. And yeah, I've just was charging at the library and didn't see, I was trying to slide off the seat as I was charging it coming home, and I just thought, bugger this, I'm not going to break the wires off the battery to the circuit board, so I just charged my tablet instead coming home, and now I've got back home. I've whacked it on the fridge system here, and you can probably just see it blinking away down there. Anyway, it's getting an extra glow there. Keep seeing another blue light. It might be the one that's actually just reflecting down from the actual cigarette lighter plug there. Yeah, it is. It's reflecting off the lead, off the actual end micro USB plug. Anyway, not bad for a freebie. She actually, there we go, she's starting to eat it. Oh, that day I had a rat there, and another mouse. It was probably nearly a week ago. And there's another mouse I didn't even show. And then there's this one too that came in this morning, and I didn't bring it on the bed, but I knew we were going to be throwing it around the bedroom for another hour or 50 minutes or so. So I took action and got a hold of the thing with a glove on, I think. Can't really remember. No, hang on, it was threw it inside my boot. So I opened the wood heater door, and the fire had basically gone out inside it, and just sort of gave me boot a bit of a flick, and it come out of my boot into the wood heater, and that's where it stayed. So I actually managed to get a bit of sleep, because Black Kitty always brings him inside, while Tabby Cat eats him somewhere around this area, somewhere in between the front lawn and the buildings. Anyway, that would make 3 mice and 1 rat in 1 week. So it's a pretty good score for 1 week for a cat. The only trouble is, I thought she's going to continue to try and play around with me boots, assuming that the mouse was still in me boot where she left it. So I took me boots and put them out in the kitchen, so if she's going to play with them, she could do it in the kitchen, and I could keep the door closed and continue to sleep. And anyway, I got the mouse out of the wood heater and plonked it down on the mat here, and yeah, decided it'd be a good idea to keep sticking it in my boots anyway. So for some reason it seems as though my boots are the prime place to stick a mouse while playing with a mouse. When I got it last night, it was still in the last stages of dying. It was still actually moving as I flicked it out of my boot. Of course, it had died of its injuries by morning. But some of you may know what a Kong is, K-O-N-G. It's like this rubber thing that you can stick dog food inside of, or dog treats inside of, and you give it to your dog, and they play with it and then mess around trying to get the dog treats and that out of the middle. It's a play toy, and it seems that my boot seems to be going the same way. A nice place to stick a bit of food and then play with it, because she'll actually start clawing the laces on the boot and moving the boot around, tipping it around from side to side, and I don't like where that's all headed, to be honest. My boots are made for wearing. I didn't pay $120 or something just to have mice stuck in them. Alrighty. Not so much luck with these spinach seeds. I've put some in a sprouter, and honestly I think they're going rotten, these spinach seeds. That's the English spinach in these two, I think, and I think that's the Oriental spinach. Here comes the wind. And I'm not seeing, I've dug into one of these and there's no life in it, and there's no life in the English spinach and the sprouter. I'm not too sure if there's going to be any life in the oriental spinach. The Siberian kale that I had in the egg tray, that sort of got too dry and overflowed, and washed some of it out when I'd go and water it, and I put some of that in there. I've been digging around a few minutes ago, can't see any of it germinating in there. Pure fact of the matter is, a lot of these seeds, they had to use by 2010 and 2011, and I think they're just dud seeds. But anyway, I've set up the sprouter with a bit of alfalfa that I was going to sprout anyway, and also the microgreens kit to try and sprout the remaining Siberian kale. I was going to get some when I was in there last time at the hardware store getting all the plasterboard and all that. Sometimes you can't. When you go in the trade section, you just got to get shit out of the trade section and get out of there, because the place is bogging up and there's people everywhere, and you can't be frolicking around taking up the very limited parking spaces inside the trade section where you pick up all the plasterboard and the weatherboards and the timber and all that stuff. And so I didn't get any. Having said that, I think I'm going to have to, because the seeds, I think my seeds are just too old. It's as simple as that. Not off to a quicker start as I was hoping to be off. And I was hoping to get off to a rip-roaring start, get the seeds germinated in autumn, and so they're, maturing in the start of winter, or halfway through winter. I'll be getting, it'll be harvest time for Siberian kale, spinach, broccoli, or whatever. I haven't planted any broccoli seeds, but that's one that is quite possibly going to happen. I don't know where my boxes are gone. I gave away a bunch of seeds, but I don't know where the bloody hell one of the box of seeds is gone. And I could look for it, but I'm probably not even going to bother. I've got one possible place it could still be, but I think I've already checked that place previously, and I've got to move all the shit to check this particular box that it could be in, which I think I've already checked. And even when I do get there, the seeds are likely all to be duds anyway, because they're too old anyway. So is there a point trying to dig through all this shit to get to these seeds if they're all going to be duds regardless? Not seeing any activity out of this either, and I think there's more English spinach in there as well, or this might be the, what's his name one, oriental one, I can't really remember. But anyways, been thinking a bit more about a few things. Cut this a few minutes ago. That's going to go in my wardrobe to give me a bit more shelving space. There's a bit where you're supposed to hang up coats, and I'm not hanging coats in there, and I could do with an extra bit of shelving, so I'll put that in a minute. But anyway, you see a little drip line down there. I wouldn't be able to get much, it'd be hard to get the guttering on this. I mean, I do have posts, obviously, that all this stuff screwed into. Well, that one's sort of behind the thing, but at least, I'll still whack it in up there. I could sort of get a gutter into this. Wouldn't have many attachment points. Wouldn't really need many attachment points. But then I could make use of some of this water. The one I'm really thinking of is along here. Unfortunately, that's all a bit sort of not quite spot on. Now, for those of you who ain't brilliant with plumbing, I'll explain a few things. There's water in this line non-stop. When I fill the washing machines, obviously the hose is higher than what it is out here, because this is the one, same line basically. It just goes in through there and ends up in where my 1-inch hose is with a big tap to fill the washing machines. This is obviously lower than where I fill the washing machines, but the overhead tank is higher. So then I'm fine all the same. Got little silver eyes trying to eat these. Hell, I've got a lot just ripen very quickly. Too late. Shit. And these all ripen all of a sudden by the looks. Anyway, back on subject. What it means is I can put a gutter here, and although it isn't terribly straight, at least I could get, most of the sheets under this gutter. And so long as I keep the gutter up reasonably high, I'm probably going to end up with like little shelving stands or something, like you got a little right angle piece and then you got a little strut that comes back, something like that to hold the gutter out there. There's different ways of doing it. One is to actually hang it off the sheets, but then it puts weight on the sheets, and I sort of would rather have it mounted off the wall. That's the way I've always done it, and that's the most common way to do it as well, and the least likely to cause the catastrophe. As long as the gutter is higher than the output point, I can put a 1-inch line, probably much the same as the flexible one sitting on the ground there that I use to fill the washing machines. From the gutter down over the driveway and up to a little plastic drum I've got. And it's got a fitting to put a tap in. I've got another tap that would suit it. All I've got to do is just drill a hole basically with a bore a bit. And I could set up this little 60 litre drum here, which is about 17 gallons or something. And basically have the tap hooked to a 1/2-inch line and turn the tap on. And so long as where the top of the drum wasn't above the gutter, it would hold water in the flexible line, but it would empty out. And the more water that came in there, the more that would continue to flow through into the drum, just so long as the top of the drum was below the height of the gutter. This sounds crazy, and I know generally speaking this is not the way to do things, because you have enormous problems with line friction. I've considered running a 1/2-inch line from here right over the end of the hill. It may be just a shitstorm. It may fuck up, which is why I'm a bit hesitant about doing it. It'd be fine if it was 1 inch. I mean, 1 inch isn't great for moving big amounts of water. There is line friction still. With 1 inch, when you hit 1 1/4 inch, you don't have any line friction. But I've got a spot halfway down the hill, like about 7 metres below the elevation we're on now, that's completely flat spot that just juts out in the middle of the hill. It's perfectly flat. I mean, it's so flat, it's unbelievable. You can land a helicopter on it. And I could put IBCs down there, and because it's 7 metres below this elevation, I could turn the tap on, leave it turned on permanently, and run the water through a 1/2-inch line right over the end. Yes, you're right, the line friction would be terrible. It would only trickle. It would just be dribbling out the end, but that dribble would be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and would eventually fill 4 or 5 IBCs down the hill there. I couldn't fill that IBC there because the water would remain in the line. And you put a bit more in this end and it seemed to take forever to even come out that end by the time the line friction took effect. But if it goes right off the end of the hill to the point that the top of the IBC is below the outlet of the tap, which it would be, being 7 metres down the hill, then it'll fill the IBC up. It's another 7 or 10 metres down to where I intend to put the veggie patch, which means that then that also would have a bit of line pressure from above. But when you get into long distances, things turn to shit sometimes, and this could be a colossal experiment, spending a lot of money on 1/2-inch water line just for nothing. But it may also be worth a shot. During the winter, there's enough green grass everywhere else that I don't even need to let the sheep in. I can lock them out of this area, which means they won't stand on the water line and do any damage to it. And I do keep in mind that it'll be running 24 hours a day, and you'd have to go down there every day and check and maybe move it across to the next IBC, especially if it's rained a lot. But yeah, one of these things, sometimes you try and save money and you just sort of short-circuit yourself in the process. So anyway, it's a thought I've had. I know many of you say, why not run a water pump? Yeah, that's the ideal way, but I'd blow that little sump pump up trying to run it through half-inch line. I'd need to run it through 1-inch line, and then if I ran it through 1-inch line friction wouldn't be that big a deal, and I could just run it straight there off gravity anyway, and then it negates the need for a pump. But the 1-inch line is a lot more expensive. Yeah, it's one of these things. There's another one, I'm thinking like the black polyethylene line, like the one that I was just showing there before. There's one that I've got that goes down the grapevines, which is low density, so not real low density, but it's like a medium density one. I mean, this, if the sheep stand on this, nothing happens to it because it's reasonably thick, but the one I've got going down the grapevines, that's not so thick, and that costs not much. And yeah, I wonder if I could run that stuff down. And I don't know if the sheep stand on that, but that always comes back too. You know, that's never deformed in shape, the half-inch one. Although it's a lot thinner than this 1-inch one. There's another one too that I've seen used, and it's, I don't know what the price is, but it's probably too expensive anyway. But it's very intriguing stuff. It's a section of tarp. That's right, it's just tarp. And you can roll it flat. And a lot of people with the water tanker trucks have all that sort of shit. And usually they have huge stuff. It's like 3 or 4 inch thick. And I just wonder if there isn't something like that available in 1-inch. And it's sort of funny, you can stand on it and it just goes flat. You wouldn't want to get a prickle by box thorn because that would be the end of it. Yeah, one of these things. If you got to deal with, you know, like, the time I go out to there, it's going to be damn near a quarter mile, and you know, that's not cheap, you know. And I once calculated it was about half a mile from the dam up the front there, the big pond. It was going to cost $2,000 to $2,500 to put a line in there. So if I just get a 1-inch line or something like that, just whack it down there, you know, hey, it's $1,000, you know. Work out ways to get around all this. Yeah. I'm having fun today. Look at this bloody big grasshopper. It's pretty damn big, actually. And now we're eating it. Jumping all over the place. That's right, Pussy. That's right, Pussy. I'm watching you. You have a big grasshopper there, bud, hey? It hasn't been unknown for flaming cockroaches to disappear too, has it, hey? Any large insects, she treats them almost the same as... yeah, it's all gone. She treats them pretty much the same as though they're a mouse or something like that. And apparently, in the Quran, there's stuff about a woman who owns a cat, and the way they wrote it back in the day, they used to have the cats caged and they'd let them out to go and eat the grasshoppers and the insects. And I think a lot of Middle Eastern cats, way back when the Quran was written, friggin' whenever it was, something ridiculous, 1400 years ago or something, it was pretty normal for cats just to eat insects most of the time. There's that shit. Found that down the paddock. Just getting out a serrated tussock my father told me he'd seen, and that was there on the way back.
Behold, the hip note, oh no, the floor.
Just swept it out a bit there. Got a bunch of things that's got flung outside. This is how you clear your house out link style. You say, I'm not going to use this. There's no reason for it to be in here. You walk out the front, you open the little gate, and you go, and you go, good. Now my house is clean. Trouble is, it's all sitting on the front lawn. I don't know if I should have picked this one or not, but this is probably my last tomato. It's sort of going a little bit brown there, which is what the black Russian tomatoes have tended done in my experience. I have seen ones that are like really dark, like a black almost, but didn't happen for me. There's another one called Cherokee that's like a deep purple as well. Anyway, it's been sitting here for a while, and just the last few days I've been noticing the sides going like that. It's still a little bit green on the top, and the bottom's like that. But yeah, you know, I think the plant's on the way out, and it was sort of, if I pick it, it might ripen now on its own. Like a lot of the ones, I don't know if you've ever seen the photos of when they pick a lot of tomatoes in the States. You've got all your Mexican workers there, and they'll have a whole, you know, tubs and trucks full of tomatoes, and every single friggin' one is green, the whole lot of them. And that's why now you can buy vine ripened ones that are actually left to go ripen, left to ripen, and then they pick them. And but anyway, I was worried it might be going rotten because it just seems the plant's doing nothing, and it seems this has been going nowhere, even though the top has gone a dark green, which usually indicates it's very close to going ripe. And that was 2 weeks ago, and usually you see that literally only like 3 days beforehand, but it should ripen on its own anyway. But it's half ripened already anyway. So anyway, and a few bits and pieces that I decided should go with all the other bits and pieces. I don't know what the go is with these, if they've just worn them out short or what, but they sort of not their normal design. I assume they're antique-ish. You guys might know, you seem to know more than I do about this. It may be that they've just worn the shit out of them. And an old pick. I should get that old pick head over there too, with the size thing. And I've got a few shovels behind the dunny there. And there's another one under a truck out there, and I should all stick those with all my other brooms and extra stuff. Found I had a mop that I never knew I had. You guys would have seen that when I was cleaning the plastic out the other week. I don't use well, I've got a Tom and Hawk sitting in there, but that's what I use to split wood. It's a broken handle. I put some in the bin, and then I thought, shit, this is too big, so I tried to smash it. This is when I was actually initially cleaning the house out before I even started. I was already living here. I can't remember. I think it was when I was cleaning the house out. We used to go through 10 wheelie bins. I'm talking the big 240 litre ones that I've got around there. 10 of those every week cleaning this place out. And I had a fire going, where was it? It was sort of about here, constantly, of newspapers. And had I known I could have taken them into Vizzy, a whole trailer full, and dumped them off, I probably would have done exactly that. But, yeah, we're going through 10 wheelie bins a week, and I had this thing in a wheelie bin that was too big. It was like a friggin' TV casing or something, so I decided to try and smash it. So I slammed this into it. The only trouble is, edge of the bin was there and snapped the fucking handle off. Not to worry, because I already own that one from a garage sale for $10, and bought this about, the big log splitter about, a year ago or something. Here's a ripper. A lot of this is shit I'm just about to put away.
into certain areas. And there's another axe handle anyway. Don't think it's in terribly good shape, but I'm going to hang on to it anyway. Yes, Tabby cat. Big ass bolt cutters. These aren't moving. A little bit of corrosion on that one. Just a bit of crap built up on it. The rest of them just look dry, but I'm pretty certain it's alright. I was looking at these big ones, Chinese made, huge big bastards like this, about 120 bucks or something like that, or 80 bucks or something, 90 bucks. I always wanted a big set. I was thinking of buying a pair of those Chinese ones, and I thought, what are you going to use it for? But I'll give this to my father, and he should be able to get it all going. And just to put a bit of perspective, she's a decent-sized set of bolt cutters. So that'd be good. The other one I've got that theoretically cuts 10 mil, or so it says, never actually cuts any more than about 8 mil at an absolute maximum. You'd be battling to get 8 mil to be cut. You will cut 6 mil with it, but not the 10 mil that it's rated at, because like most Chinese things, they never meet their rating. And that's the normal bolt cutters that I've got sitting with my other tools at the moment. Anyway, I think that's about it. I put all the figs in the fridge. I like to have them turned upside down just for the sap to drip out of the end of the fruit or dry off or whatever it's going to do. In case I didn't put the video in, that was the one where I got 60 figs yesterday. So it's good, the old fig tree. All I got to do is make sure I'm here all of January next year, and I can get a whole heap of plums as well, without the birds nicking them while I'm away. And my sister's fixing up whatever building projects on the go that time around. Anyway, oh yeah, she got another mouse again this morning. After I'd already, was eating breakfast, and she tried to take it in the bedroom and walked in there and I, get out! She looked at me like, huh? Get out! Get out! And she ran out. She was busy playing with it on the front lawn and everything like that, but yeah, that would make that the fourth mouse, so 4 mice and 1 rat in about a week and a half, in about 10 days. I got this bloody rabbit food when I had those rabbits, $7 for a pissy little bag. I sat it out here, and door knocker was hanging around, just had a little sniff and walked off. It's bloody good feed. It's got pellets in it, it's got cracked corn, it's got flipping sunflowers, molasses, I think there's something else in there, lupins or something that's cracked. Bloody sod won't eat it. Dare I say it, it might have been attracting the mouse that Black Kitty got this morning, but hoping these damn sheep will eat it, because it's just sitting here, and I don't really know anybody else who's got any rabbits. It's stuffed it in there for now, but I was hoping door knocker was going to eat it, because I've actually got 2 bags of it, and if she ate a bit I could just keep pouring it out every day and we'd get rid of it. It was $7 a bag. You don't sort of really want to waste it, but then again, it's either that or throw it in the damn bin if I can't give it away, so I'd rather give it to old door knocker sheep. Pity I can't feed it to you, eh? Huh? You're a big cat now, aren't you, huh? You need a friggin' bath.